sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This
will allow me to report. Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. I'm on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to watch a broadcast, it's simple. So simple, a liberal can do it. Just go to Reaver.one, that's REAVER.ONE, click on the SHR TV button. And that's not the only way. We make it this easy. There's multiple ways. You can go to YouTube or Facebook and just search SHR Media, and you're done. While you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe or like to keep up to date on everything going on with SHR Media. Oh, it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of those shows. I really do. Comedian Ralphie May has passed away at the age of 45. Sad to see him go. It was funny. Charles Lowe, good fellow actor, passed away. I'm trying to pull a picture up. I guess not that. That's weird. Didn't show a picture. Now I'm trying to find. They're saying there was some kind of accident at a military base I saw somewhere, but I can't find any articles at it. That's weird. Really weird. Let's see, where are we at? Right before the show. I haven't done this in a while. I got to do it more often because it really pumps me up. Don't you hate when the ends of your shirt roll up? You're straightening these out. I know I did. Wearing my Blue Lives Matter t-shirt that you can get on Reaver.one. But right before the show, I was listening to a bunch of music. I was listening to Disturbed, and I was listening to Typo Negative, and that's one of the Typo Negative I used to practice to when I did vocals. And then I went to Pantera. Was listening to Cemetery Gates. I had to shut it off because the show got started. I would love one time. By now I can't do it because of copyrights and all the issues. YouTube would throw my show out the window so fast. I would love to do a musical show, not like I'm going to sing and dance and tap dance, but like just go over a lot of different music that I'm passionate about. Trying to figure out. What made me think, and I'm looking it up, is a couple of musicians were teasing that they were forming a new band. And it was supposed to be more of the sound of Typo Negative. I'm just trying to find it. Now, if you think heavy metal musicians are just, hippies or scumbags, one of the members, during a break that the band took, and it was taking a couple of years, and one of the members was getting bored, so he thought about becoming EMT. Well, the band got back together right about that point. When the lead singer passed away, what this gentleman did is he gave up his music career. He still had a music career ahead of him. Gave it up, became an EMT, and is now a New York City EMT. Man after my own heart. Trying to find this. It's got to be something I saw, a big article. I didn't tag the article. Josh Silver. He became a certified EMT and worked for a state, New York City, I believe it is. And it's, you don't make money as an EMT. No, you don't. The most underutilized anymore, underpaid profession that's out there. Let's try this. And it sucks because I know this has nothing to do with politics. It's my show. I can talk what I want. I love the music. It wasn't hard and heavy. It was a different type of music. But the lead singer, who was pretty straight and narrow when it came to drugs and alcohol and all that, well, he drank a lot, yeah. But he had a lot of family members that passed away in a short period of time. And, well, that'll play hell on people. Well, he fell into the device that a lot of people do. He got into drugs. He started cleaning his life up, got clean, got back into working out again, and well, that's when he had a cardiac event and passed away. Kind of sucks. He was sitting there straightening his life out, man. So you never know when it's going to come about. So always try to do the right thing. Let's see. There's a spike in airborne radioactive detected in Europe. German officials say that a spike in radioactive activity has been detected in the air in Western and Central Europe, but that there's no threat to human health. The Federal Office of Radiation Protection said Thursday that elevated levels of an isotope hang on, let me get the wife out because I know I'm going to screw it up. That's why I have the wife here. Ruthenium. Let's see how close.
Ruthenium.
Hey, I got it right. I didn't need the wife. Ruthenium 106 have been reported in Germany, Italy, Austria, Switzerland, and France since September 29. Spokesman told the Associated Press the source of the Ruthenium 106 isn't known, but calculations indicate it may have been released in Eastern Europe. Ruthenium 106 is used for radiation therapy to treat eye tumors and sometimes as a source of energy to power satellites. Well, anytime you have radiation like that, it's not good. Not good at all. So we got two articles coming up next that are of Chuck Schumer. Oh my God. This one takes guts. In a speech from the Senate floor on Thursday, Senator Chuck Crying Eyes Schumer suggests that the dead could talk. They would urge President Trump to break with the NRA. Schumer referenced inaction on gun control and extortion, saying those people who were killed are now in heaven. They would say, do something. They wouldn't say, let's wait. He added, President Trump, are you going to wait to hear what the NRA says first? Schumer's comment on Trump and the NRA come in the same week that Hillary Clinton blamed the Vegas attack on the NRA, tweeting, the crowd fled at the sound of gunshots, which actually they did. Imagine the deaths if the shooter had a silencer, which the NRA wants to make easier to get. Well, our grief isn't enough. We can and must put politics aside, but here's the thing, they're not putting politics aside. They're putting politics front and center. But, well, we're saying that we're not putting politics. We're putting it aside. No, you're not. You're putting it front and center. Just because you say something doesn't mean it's actually happening. Hell, I could say Tiffany Woods doesn't make me Tiffany Woods. I don't know who the hell Tiffany Woods is. Just name that popped in my head. Stand up to the NRA and work together to try to stop this from happening again. Newsflash. Never going to happen. You will never stop it from ever happening again. It will happen again. You can ban all the guns you want. It will happen again. Doesn't matter. And if it's not with a gun, it'll be with a truck. Paris, you can't own guns. You can't own assault rifles. And what happened in Paris? Well, a bunch of terrorists went into a theater, a concert hall, killed a shitload of people. And they used those assault rifles that are banned in Paris. It is not going to stop the people that want to commit these heinous acts. I guess my AR is broken because it's never shot anybody. It's never gone on a shooting spree. And if they actually looked at it, the amount that actually comes from rifles, I think it's only 3% out of, 30 people killed a day or something like that. And it's only like 3% are killed with long rifles. And it's only like a 0.03 is killed with quote-unquote assault rifles. They're trying to go after such a small minority of these shootings. But because it looks scary and it's black, they gotta go after it. It's scary and it's black. Oh my God, we gotta ban it. Clinton and Schumer's shared goal are one and the same: to continue trying to distract and divide people, even to the point of attempting to make the President of the United States feel shame for having the NRA as an ally and the NRA leadership as confidants. Trump White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders and Trump counselor Kelly Conway have all made clear there will be no gun law policy discussion at this time. Yet they've left the door open to future discussion. The left's ongoing focus on the NRA is part of a concerted effort to ensure those discussions come sooner rather than later. But Chuck Schumer had to get rid of some campaign money. Senator Chuck Schumer will donate campaign contributions he received from Harvey Weinstein to charity. His spokesman said Friday, joining at least 3 other Democrats who have pledged to donate their contributions after a New York Times expose published Thursday detailed decades of sexual harassment allegations against the Hollywood super producer and Democrat Party power player. Quote, Senator Schumer is donating all the contribution to several charities supporting women. Schumer spokesman Matt House wrote in an email Friday. The email did not specify to which charity Schumer planned to donate the contribution. Weinstein contributed at least $14,200 to Schumer dating back to 1993, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. The DNC is going to be donating a bunch of money. But they are still actually standing up for him. Not all of the liberals have run away from him. One of the, Lisa Bloom, she's one of the biggest goddamn attorneys that have, usually are on the side of the accuser. One of Obama's personnel, who's good with PR, is working with Harvey Weinstein now. And they're trying to make it seem like he is the victim. That he has this disease and it's being overblown and all this other crap. they're still trying to protect him. Now, if you remember, Trump bullshitted in a goddamn bus with locker room talk, as it's been called, and then left through a hissy fit. This guy sexually harassed women. He wrote very big checks to at least 8 of them to settle. Admits he has a problem. But yet, it's okay that he actually sexually harassed. It points out the hypocrisy of the left. How they'll say, it's do as I say, not as I do. And then, you know what? They got Anthony Weiner, don't forget to. You have Bob Mendez, who's been investigated for some illicit contact with, I think it's underage boys, to be exact. And it seems to be a common reoccurrence. Bill Clinton. It's real common amongst the left to have these accusations be thrown at them. They go out in the spotlight and they say all the right things and they smile and kiss the babies, but behind closed doors, it seems that they really don't give a shit. I put money they don't give a shit. As long as they're getting money, that's all they care about. These people can do whatever they want. They don't care. They're untouchable as far as they think. Schumer became the latest Democrat to announce he would return contribution from Weinstein, following a New York Times expose. It was reported that the Hollywood mogul had reached financial settlement with at least 8 women who have accused him of various forms of sexual harassment during a decades-long career in the movie business. I said no a lot of ways, a lot of times, and he always came back at me with some new ask. Actress Ashley Judge, who worked with Weinstein on the 1997 film Kiss the Girls, told the New York Times for its story, adding, "Women have been talking about Harvey amongst ourselves for a long time, and it's simply beyond time to have the conversation publicly." A representative for Senator Richard Blumenthal said in an email Friday that Blumenthal would donate the $5,400 in campaign contribution he received from Weinstein last year to the Connecticut Alliance to End Sexual Violence. Other Democrat senators donating campaign contributions to the charity include Senator Patrick Leahy, who pledged $5,600 in contributions to the Women's Fund at the Vermont Community Center, Senator Martin Heinrich, who will donate $5,400 to a nonprofit community against violence in New Mexico. In a statement Thursday, the Republican National Committee called on all Democrat politicians who had received funding from Weinstein to return what it called the dirty money, including the Democrat National Committee, which received at least $246,000 from the producer. In total, Weinstein has contributed at least $769,532 to Democrat politicians, PACs, and other organizations, according to the CRP. Weinstein was also a significant contributor to former Democrat presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's unsuccessful 2016 campaign, having donated at least $17,000 to the candidate in June of last year. The producer hosted a pricey fundraiser for Clinton at his New York City home that drew celebrities including Leonardo DiCaprio, Sarah Jessica Parker, Benethy Franklin, and fashion designer Vera Wang and Tory Burch. Well, they're just finding themselves in hot water again. And I noticed this time they quickly jumped on donating the money. But notice how they're donating the money, they're not giving it back. As if that's a better thing. Well, they still took the dirty money and are using that dirty money. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. till 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo. In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for this stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race,
Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. I always forget to do this. I really do. I forget. I always forget to do this social media crap. How is everybody doing? It's a Friday. The weekend's here. I don't know if I'm going to have any plans for the weekend. I have to ask the wife if I do. You know, you've been married a long time when you make those kind of statements of, I don't know if I have anything planned. I got to ask the wife. Because, you know, that means you've been married a while. When you finally start making those statements, you come to the realization that wife's the boss. And it's so much easier. Let her make the decisions. Coffee. So Trump has the media going nuts. And I didn't even know he did this, but I guess yesterday and today, he has been telling the press that the calm before the storm. So the White House remained coy Friday about what President Trump meant when he called a gathering of military advisors the calm before the storm, with the president winking and declining to elaborate when pressed by a reporter. You'll find out, the president responded. Moments later, during the briefing, White House Secretary Sarah Sanders rebuffed question after question, probing the meaning of the president's seemingly ominous warning. We're never going to say in advance what the president's going to do, Sanders said, adding, you'll have to wait and see. Like a bunch of little kids, you know, that didn't go over too well with the press because they have to know everything right away. You know, could this be a military strike? Could be. Could this be something that just to make the media go nuts? Very well could be. I mean, he has played the media like a fiddle. Like a cheap fiddle. And he just has them dancing. I'm trying to see if there's any video. Audio. On Thursday evenings, reporters were led hastily to the state dining room where they walked into a scene of the president, his highest-ranking military advisors, and their wives posing for a group photo. You guys know what this represents? Trump asked the reporter. Maybe it's the calm before the storm. Could be the calm before the storm. Here's a 16-second sound bite. Hopefully there's no goddamn commercials when I hit play. Commercial. Caught it. Ha. Yes. Very good. And I hate commercials. I really do. In real life, my wife gets annoyed because I'm always turning the channel. That's why I watch a lot of things online now, because I don't like commercials. I wish we could just have a channel. Here we go.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, what did you mean by calm before the storm yesterday? What did you mean by that?
Thank you very much. You'll find out.
We'll find out.
He loves playing the press. He knows how to do it. He knows how to rile them up. He knows how to change the subject. He knows how to get them to go where he wants them to go. But early Friday, the president wouldn't reveal what he meant about his comment as he signed a manufacturing proclamation in the Oval Office. He winked when a reporter asked him to clarify, saying, "You'll find out." During a briefing, Sanders suggested the president wasn't discussing a specific situation amidst tensions around the globe with ISIS, North Korea, and Iran. "I believe it was just a general comment. I'm not aware of anything specific," I almost said Pacific, specific that was in reference to. She added, "I think you could take the president protecting the American people always extremely serious. He's been very clear that that's his number one priority, and if he feels that action is necessary, he will take it." Multiple outlets have reported that the White House next week will effectively scrap the Iran nuclear deal signed by the Obama administration in 2015, kick-starting a new standoff between Iran and the U.S. Trump, who earlier said Iran had not lived up to the spirit of the nuclear deal, was expecting to decertify and denounce the controversial accord as not being the U.S. national interest, passing the issue to Congress. At the same time, North Korea continues to develop its nuclear program, posing a threat to its immediate neighbors and to the U.S., which it has tormented with defiant rhetoric. Trump recently threatened to totally destroy the rogue country if it attacks the U.S. or its allies. At the Thursday meeting, Trump reiterated his administration's opposition to North Korea leader Kim Jong-un, saying the U.S. would not allow this dictator to threaten our nation or allies with unimaginable loss of life. He has pledged to do what we must do to prevent that from happening, and it will be done if necessary, believe me. Now, there's so many things it could be about. I mean, he says he wants an extra scoop of ice cream, and it's a storm coming. You know, he could be knows that there's something that's going to break. He could know that Mueller's going to come out, possibly, and say that there's nothing there. That would start a big storm, wouldn't it? He would know that in advance, and he wouldn't want to put that out there until Mueller announced it. I mean, I'm just speculating here. I'm speculating. There is more things than just us going to war that they could be talking, or he could be talking about with that comment. They're assuming because he was in front of military personnel when he said it. Could it be that, and this goes to the next article, Bo Birddog is expected to plead guilty later this month to the desertion and misbehavior before the enemy rather than face the trial for leaving his Afghanistan post in 2009. Could that be it? That's why the military personnel were there. Were they discussing other options that are going on in the country? There's so many things it could or couldn't be, and they're jumping the gun and assuming what it is. It could mean nothing, and he's just playing with the media. Congress could be starting an investigation into our news agencies. The connection between the Democrat Party and these mainstream medias. Never, that would start a storm. That would be a tsunami if that actually happened. It'd be a good thing, but it would be a tsunami. I mean, what else? It could be another one of his pledges that he's ran on that's going to be approved. It could be so many damn things, and they just jump to Korea. Could it be Korea? Yeah. Would Korea deserve it? Hell yeah. North Korea deserves to be wiped off the fucking map. Period. End of sentence. We're still, we never signed treaties. Technically we're still at war with them. We just, a little break in a battle. Do I want that? Hell no. I do not want that at all. But could it be? It could be a lot of things. Just everybody's jumping the gun. I like I said, I think it's just he's fucking with the media. And he does that. And people keep telling him. They get told to their face. And they're too stupid, too stubborn, think they're too smart, that they ignore it and don't think that's an option. That's the problem. They think they're too smart. Well, I don't think you're that smart, actually. So as I said, Army Sergeant Bo Birddog, you know, we gave up a lot of money. We gave up some top terrorists to free him. You know, remember Obama did all that? Brought his parents to the Rose Garden, praised his service. Well, it's expected that he's going to plead guilty. Two sources said the Idaho native would submit the plea later this month, and sentencing would start October 23rd. The AP did not name the source. United States Army Sergeant Bo Birddog, oh, sorry, I didn't take that out. Birddog's lawyer declined to comment when contacted by Fox News. He faces up to 5 years in prison on the desertion charges. My parents had talked to me. I told them what I heard. And when this popped up, they saw the 5 years in prison. My dad, I could see the anger building up. I said, wait a minute, wait to the next one. So he can get 5 years in prison on the desertion charges. And a life sentence for misbehavior with the enemy. In other words, for committing treason, can get him life in prison. Birddog 31, who was serving with an Alaska-based infantry regiment, deserted his Afghan post in 2009 when he was 23 years old and was held captive by the Taliban for about 5 years. The Taliban posted a video online showing Birddog saying he was scared he would not be able to go home. United States Army Private Bo Birddog watched as one of his captors displays his identity tags to the camera at an unknown location in Afghanistan, July 19, 2009. The U.S. military denounced on Sunday the release of the video showing a soldier captured in Afghanistan, describing the image as Taliban propaganda that violated international law. The Taliban released videos of Birddog being held hostage. Birddog said he had been caged, kept in darkness, beaten and chained to a bed when he was kept captive. The Army sergeant claims he was lagging behind a patrol when he was captured. He also said he left his post to alert people about problems he perceived within his units. That doesn't make sense. He says he got captured after he was lagging behind on a patrol, and he also said he left his post. And that's the main story that keeps being said. He walked off. He wasn't lagging behind, he just walked off one day. There was a lot of people complaining about him, fellow soldiers that were complaining that he was going to go AWOL. And from the start, they knew he left to give aid to the enemy. So, of course, investigators said Birddog suffered from a schizophrenic personality disorder at the time he left his post. In December 2009, the Taliban released another video showing Birddog apparently healthy and delivering a lengthy statement criticizing U.S. military operations. U.S. Army Sergeant Bo Birddog, damn it, I thought I got them all out. Army Sergeant Bo Birddog was released after the Obama administration exchanged 5 Guantanamo Bay detainees for the soldiers at several $1 million. He was released in May 2014 for 5 Taliban detainees locked in Guantanamo Bay by the Obama administration. The exchange was viewed as controversial at the time due to the debate about negotiating with hostage takers. The exchange also fueled a debate about whether Birddog was a hero or a deserter. President Barack Obama stood with Birddog's parents in the White House Rose Garden and defended the swap. The U.S. does not leave our men or women in uniform behind, Obama said then, regarding of how Birddog came to be captured. He wasn't left behind. He ran off. That's a big difference. All right, we're going to continue this conversation on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Punnet Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. We're talking about Bo Bird Dog and giving you a backstory of what's going on and the fact that it looks like he's going to plead guilty. Many viewers noticed, whatever the circumstances may turn out to be, we still get an American soldier back if he's held in captivity, Obama said, period, full stop. Problem was, a lot of people questioned whether he was in captivity or not. He voluntarily walked off the base. He went looking for these people. He went looking to give them information. He got Americans killed. That is not... At that point, you were an enemy of the state. You were no longer an American. I don't know. It makes me wonder what... I mean... I don't know. But many viewers noticed Bird Dog's father, Bob, and his long beard as he stood next to Obama. The Washington Post reported Bob Bird Dog read books and articles about the foreign world that held his son. He also learned how to speak Pashto, the official language of Afghanistan. He told Times he started growing the beard after learning that his son had been captured. U.S. President Barack Hussein Obama. Oh, that's one of the pictures. Many viewers noticed Bird Dog's father and his beard. In March 2015, he was formally charged. In December, Bird Dog requested a pardon from then-President Obama before he left office, Fox News reported. The pardon was never granted. Some of Bird Dog's fellow soldiers want him held responsible for any harm suffered by those who went looking for him. The judge ruled a Navy SEAL and Army National Guard sergeant would not have found themselves in separate firefights if they had not been searching. The U.S. troops who were seriously wounded during their search for Bird Dog in Afghanistan were expected to testify. During the presidential campaign, Donald Trump called Bird Dog a dirty, rotten traitor during a town hall in August 2015. Trump also tweeted in 2015 that Bird Dog should face the death penalty. So, of course, Trump becomes president. Oh, my God, we can't get a fair trial. You can't convict us now. Bullshit. Bullshit. There is no reason why he shouldn't have to step up. I think he's going to plead guilty because he knew there was a very good chance that he would get the death penalty because of injuries and all that. So he's looking to do a plea deal. He'll plead guilty as long as he doesn't get the death sentence. I'm conflicted on that. On one hand, the case is solved, done, saves us a lot of money, closure. But on the other hand, he doesn't get the proper punishment. I understand life in prison in federal cases like this, military cases, it is life in prison. But can he get pardoned? I think he can. Another president comes along. He may not serve life in prison. He might get pardoned by a Democrat that comes along that gets president in the future. So, I don't know. I'm split. Got The Simpsons on. I haven't watched it in a long time. So, let's get on to the next article. And the GOP donors, frustrated by do-nothing Congress, stop giving money. The establishment wing of the Republican Party is reportedly being hit by a surging revolt from their donors, from whom the establishment gets its financial lifeblood, amid the failure of GOP leadership to get its agenda through Congress. According to Politico, mega donor Thomas Wachtel urged Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to just do something at a recent LA dinner. McConnell reportedly responded by noting that passing legislation takes time, but such a plea was not greeted favorably by attendees. You're never going to get a more sympathetic Republican than I am, Wachtel said, noting he had stopped giving money to the Senate GOP because I'm sick and tired of nothing happening. McConnell has been the focus of donor and conservatives' anger, mainly because it is in his chamber when legislation has been stalled or dying outright. Most significant, the promise to repeal Obamacare, a plank of the Republican platform since the law was passed, has been killed in the Senate twice. Tax reform, another key agenda item, looks uncertain is well behind schedule, partly because of the failure to repeal and replace Obamacare. The only major item that looks like it may pass by year's end is a comprehensive immigration reform bill that includes amnesty for illegal immigrants brought to the country illegally, precisely what Trump voters voted against in 2016. The donors' frustration has long been shared by President Trump, who over the summer ditched McConnell and his counterpart in the House, Speaker Ryan, to work with Democrat leader Chuck Schumer and Pelosi to make a deal on raising the debt ceiling. McConnell was also dealt a serious defeat at the state level when establishment-backed Senator Luther Strange was beaten by Alabama Senator in the primary by Judge Roy Moore. Despite Strange outspending Moore by as much as 10-1. Think about that, 10-1. And then I heard numbers of $35 million McConnell and his PAC dumped into that race. $35 million. That's what, $3.5 million more spent? Trump spent way less than Hillary? It's not the money. They have this old-time thinking, the more money, higher chance of winning. It's not happening. But as McConnell and his allies find themselves unable to set the legislative agenda despite controlling both chambers of Congress and the White House, Politico reports that more and more donors are keeping hold of their cash until they see results. This could seriously hurt the establishment of needed cash as they prepare for the 2018 midterm, where they may also see a wave of conservative challengers to their favorite candidates. Senator Tom Tillis, Republican from South Carolina, who oversees fundraising for the National Republican Senatorial Committee, told colleagues that donations had tanked after the failure to repeal Obamacare. Bruce Rastetter, a Iowa donor and agribusiness mogul, reportedly told Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley and Joni Ernst that he was not donating unless they passed new legislation or gets new leadership. Roy Bailey, a Dallas-based GOP bundler, put the dilemma for donors simply: I think major donors are tired of writing checks to a do-nothing Congress. That anger at leadership has also spread to top administration official. On Tuesday, Chief of Staff to Vice President Mike Pence, Nick Ayers, reportedly told donors that a purge was needed of GOP leaders who are working against the president's agenda. Hires petitioned the donors at the meeting to form a coalition of donors to offer an ultimatum to McConnell and his allies. Get President Trump's agenda through by year's end, or we're going out. We're recruiting opponents, we're maxing out to their campaigns, and we're funding super PACs to defeat all of you. And that's what needs to be done. These donors need to step up and hit them where it hurts. Start taking their money away from them. Go after them. Don't let them get away with this. People, call your senators, call your House representatives. Mandate that Paul Ryan get removed from leadership. Call the senators. Tell them that you want Mitch McConnell removed. He is doing nothing. Take it to him. Take the fight. Don't give up on the Republican Party as a whole right now. Let's get rid of these establishment members. And you know what? Trump has shed a light. I know some people got pissed at Trump for what's going on. He has shed a light on the cockroaches of our government. Never before have we known so positively who was who. I mean, we thought Paul Ryan was going to be the next great. And he turned into a huge dud. He's no different than Biner. Just a younger version and don't have the tan lines. It is our chance to take back our government. Let's get these lazy pieces of shit out of office. Primary their ass. If they're not going to do what we vote them in to do, get them the hell out of there. That's what this whole election of Trump was about. Getting the hell out of there. Trump's been trying. There's only so much he could do. We need to step the fight up. We got one battle started. We got Luther Strange out of there. We got what looks to be a real person going in. He's got a lead as of right now. Keep that lead up. I think he's got like an 8 to 10 point lead over the Democrat right now. We could do that with other members. Don't be afraid to primary some of these incumbents. Don't be afraid of it. Just because they've been in, you know what? That's even more of a reason to get them the hell out of there. Get some fresh blood. Go to your NRA, your Republican meetings. Hey, you might get a chance to run for all we know. I'm out of coffee. Thank God it's almost a break. But some people have finally got it through their heads. And there's some that are backing. You still got Eric Erickson and some of those jackasses. They're still backing Jeff Flake. Have you noticed he's shut up of late? Why? Because he's tanking. He's probably going to lose his primary. And good. He needs to be taken out. Don't trust him. Right now he's going to say anything to try to save his job. And if he gets reelected, he'll go right back to doing what he was doing and siding with the Democrats. Did you notice Sarah Collins, I think it is, who's talking about leaving the Senate? Who's going to her and trying to keep her in the Senate? Chuck Schumer? A bunch of Democrats are trying to talk her keeping in. Why? Because she's more a Democrat than anything. Send her packing. I think that's why she wants to get out of the Senate. Because she knows she's not going to get reelected now. As a senator, at least. Maybe as the governor. That's that state's problem, not mine. Keep the fight up. Let's keep taking it to them. Don't listen to the media. They are trying to turn us away from Trump. They know the only way they could defeat Trump now is if they separate Trump from his supporters. And that's what they've been trying. Leaking out these false arguments, false statements, trying to get us to turn away from Trump. Stay the course, people. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to shrmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, if you want to catch a live stream, it's damn easy. So easy a liberal can do it. Just go to Reaver.1 and click on the SHR TV button. Or you can go to Facebook or YouTube and search for SHR Media. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like while you're there. See, SHR, they had the button, the SHR TV button, but for some reason that link was broken. I don't know if they got it fixed yet, so as soon as I find out and it gets working again, everything will be there, right there. Easy to find. Let's see if it's working. I don't even see it anymore. I got taken down for right now. Oh. So, on the gun out discussion, we're going to talk about Washington, D.C. They've been trying to fight. For you to get a concealed carry permit, you have to give a reason for why you need a concealed carry permit. You know, I never agreed with that. It's your right to carry. It's these government officials that make it so hard. And as we've been talking about, they know. I mean, the people that are making these decisions have armed security around them. They're in this nice cocoon. You don't have to worry about it. Ooh. Cool. That. So it's one of the courts has struck down the good reason requirement for people in the district, and they're thinking about appealing to the Supreme Court, and they decided they stopped. They're giving up the argument. It's not because they think they're now wrong. They still think they're right. And their reasoning is really weird, but the article goes on, in the midst of the Capitol Hill lawmakers considering new gun legislation in the wake of the deadly Las Vegas shooting, the District of Columbia decided not to appeal a court order that blocked the city's restriction on concealed carry, the Washington Post reported Thursday. The decision not to appeal, made by D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine, comes as the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit is expected to hand down an order by Friday that carries out a ruling that strikes down the city's good reason requirement for people in the district wanting licenses to carry concealed firearms. Racine, according to the Post, stated that while he continues to support the constitutionality of D.C.'s concealed carry firearm law, he did not want to risk an adverse ruling from the Supreme Court that would place other metropolitan areas with concealed carry restriction across the nation in a similar legal difficulty. Quote, "We must reckon with the fact that an adverse decision by the Supreme Court could have a wide-ranging negative effect not just on the district residents, but on the country as a whole," Racine stated in a statement. So in other words, they're saying they know they're going to get shot down. So they don't want that Supreme Court ruling looming over the nation as that what the hell am I looking for? The good reason clause. New Jersey has it. You have to have a good reason. Now, that might be going to Supreme Court because it got shut down again in New Jersey. And I hope the people that are fighting it are going to take it to the Supreme Court, because if it goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court says, no, there is no good reason clause, then all these states, California, New Jersey, I think New York, Washington, D.C., it does away with all of them. Because what happens then is New Jersey fights. All right, let's say D.C. took it all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court made that ruling, agreeing that the good reason clause is unconstitutional. Now, all of a sudden, New Jersey people get to go, wait a minute, let's start the lawsuit back up. And now their lawyers can quote, Supreme Court has made a ruling that it's unconstitutional, and they have to go, well, we got to remove it. So D.C. is going, well, we don't want to make trouble for other states, so we're just not going to argue it. They know, which, I mean, right there, with Gorsuch on the board right now, and it's looking pretty good pretty soon. Possibly 1 to 2 more are going to resign before Trump is done with. We can finally get the Supreme Court. Listen, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I don't want to see an overturn of the abortion. I'd like to see some regulations put in that control it a little bit more. Not so much willy-nilly, hey, you want to go screw and use it as a birth control, go right ahead. I don't agree with that. I do agree there is circumstances where you might need one, okay? It's funny how the Democrats cry because they don't want they're afraid that the Supreme Court is going to overrule on abortion. And it's a bad thing. You can't have that. It's bad, bad, bad. No, that ain't right. That ain't right. Oh, but if Hillary got in, she would be appointing non-pro, or basically anti-Second Amendment judges to the Supreme Court that would overturn previous rulings on gun control. Or actually, the defeat of gun control. That would be okay. They see that as a positive, but not the overturn of, what is it, Roe versus Wade? And what's the other one? D.C. versus... looking it up. Heller. D.C. versus Heller. And Roe versus Wade. You know, one is okay to overturn, but not the other. And it's just funny how they argue over that. And where it's okay to do one, but not okay to overturn the other. Well, see, that's the problem. It seems to be all or nothing. Listen, there is no amendment that says you have a right to murder a baby just because you're not ready for a child or you screwed up. There's no constitutional amendment that says that. That is a human being. You know, it's funny, the leftists argue we can't hurt an egg of an endangered species, but a human being. As long as it's in the mother's womb, it's fair game. See how it's kind of ridiculous, these statements? Because let me tell you this right now. If Hillary would have made president, we would have had to replace... damn, I have massive brain farts. Scalise. Sorry about that. Scalise would have been replaced with a liberal. And you know damn well Ginsburg would have retired by now, and Kennedy would have retired. They're just holding on for hopes that they can outlast Trump. Otherwise, they would have never retired, and they would have stayed on. Or excuse me, they would have retired if Hillary had won the president. and we would have, a very long time with liberals at the helm. But they know right now, especially D.C. knows that it's not a good thing for them if it goes to the Supreme Court. So as a result of the D.C.'s decision not to appeal, permit seekers can start the application process for a concealed carry weapon when the appeal court issues a formal mandate officially roll back the good reason requirement. I don't want to give anyone the misimpressions that they can just go there and carry a gun right now. D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham said at a press conference Thursday with Mayor Bowser and city council members. Well, it's going to be harder to deny the permits now. Listen, do you need to do a background check? Yes. Okay, I'm not against that. In fact, Florida, I had to get a background check on mine. I have no problem with that. No problem at all. But there was a time frame. You don't have an open end because basically that is a ban right there because they can just lose your paperwork. So, it seems the gun issue is finally going the way it should. Democrats really went nuts. And every time they really push the gun control stuff, have you ever noticed they start losing elections? Majority of the people in the country don't trust the government, believe in the right to self-defense, the right to protect oneself. Democrats got to get that through their heads. So, an article I just found. Are Democrats finally ready to toss Pelosi? On the roster, are Democrats finally ready to toss Pelosi? Russian hacks hit NSA. Ryan open to banning bump stocks for rifle. House passes 2018 budget plan with tax cut capacity. ICE, not ICE, whatever that is. House Democrats and House Republicans have inverse problems. The Republican rank and file is always full of grumbles about their leaders, but nobody seems to want to step up and take him on. Democrats, on the other hand, have plenty of eager usurpers ready to lead the mutiny, but the crew doesn't seem interested. That may be changing. In the wake of the mortifying performance before a CNN studio audience, including a cringe-inducing response to a rape victim, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi is having another bad day. Representative Linda Sanchez, another California Democrat, has joined the ranks of a growing number of Democrat members who say it's time for the 77-year-old Pelosi to hang it up. In an appearance on C-SPAN, Sanchez says, I do think we have this real breadth and depth of talent within our caucus, and I do think it's time to pass the torch to a new generation of leaders, and I want to be part of that transition. But like Representative Tim Ryan, Democrat from Ohio, and Representative Seth it's that last part. I want to be part of that transition that causes problems. Republicans dispose first and pick new leaders later. In the period of time that Pelosi has been Democrat leader, Republicans have cycled through a basketball team worth of House leaders. And if you've seen John Boehner lately, you know why. The reason he's smiling is because House leadership is a grueling ordeal for Republicans whose own members are beyond insubordinate. They're just plain mean. Democrats, on the other hand, are quite congealed with their leadership, so much so that they keep essentially the same team in power after loss after loss after loss after loss. If you think Paul Ryan would survive as party leaders if Republicans lose the House next year, you've been drinking too many whatever. But somehow Pelosi has survived not only losing the majority, but also failing to retake in 3 successive cycles. Pelosi is no small part of why Democrats are in the House minority to boot. She ran her caucus off a cliff when she was Speaker, forcing votes on brutal issues like global warming regulations just to prove a point to then Democrat President and Senate, with little to offer in a demonstrable political reliability for Democrats in 2018. How does she manage to stay on? Part of it is certainly her ability to keep the right mix of contentment and fear within her leadership team. Her fundraising ability is unbelievable, and that's what has kept her in power for so long. But when it comes down when it comes down to is that Democrats keep trying to do the rebellions backwards. Some of this, even on the occasion when Republicans had a plan of succession following the ouster or departure of a leader, it didn't work out. There is a reason Kevin McCarthy hands out Chick-fil-A sandwiches instead of committee chairmanship. You can blame some of the problems Republicans have had in majority on this defiant spirit, but there might not be any majority at all if it weren't for it. The placidity of Pelosi's reign is proof of it. But if Democrats are beginning to care more about the revolution than who will lead it, she may at last be in for some real problems. I can't believe they stuck with her this long, but her money has been buying her leadership for a long time now. And they have a lot of financial problems, Democrats do, so I don't know how quickly they're going to be tossing her to the side. And with that, it's that time again for a commercial. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm here to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's so easy. If you want to watch a live stream, all you have to do is go to Reaver.one. That's REAVER.ONE, and just click on the little SHR TV button. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to Facebook or YouTube and search for SHR Media if you haven't already liked the pages. And my show's right there, 5 days a week. It's never been easier to get your fix of the Reaver. Let's see. I am going to play Melanie's A Few Minutes of Personal Finance, Employment Scams. Melanie is our guru of finances here at SHR Media. Here it is.
Welcome to this week's 5 Minutes of Personal Finance. This week we talk about employment and career scams. Yes, people are out there scamming people who are looking for jobs, which really, really stinks. So we're going to talk about a few, what they look like, how to recognize them. For example, career consulting scams. Here's what it looks like. A career consultant will email you and say they're super duper impressed with your resume and they'd like to represent you. And really what they're doing is they're trying to pitch their product or service and trying to get money out of your pocket. There are several recruiting scams. Recruiters will contact you. They'll say that they have clients with positions that you could be qualified for, and usually this is just another attempt to sell you something rather than recruit you for an actual job. Always, another one you have to be aware of are phishing scams. Any attempt to get personal information via email is always an opportunity, and this is not just job and career scams. You have to be careful about phishing. If you can't apply directly to that job, then be very aware that it's probably an attempt to get your personal information, your personal contact information for some type of identity theft. Another big one is shipping scams. These are work-at-home opportunities where they will actually tell you that they will ship you office equipment and things like that, and all you have to do is front the money up front. They will pay you back with a fake check that will clear at first and then eventually be returned, and you'll be left holding a bag. It's a really bad situation. There are also unemployment scams. These are people, criminals, who will offer to help you with to file unemployment insurance for a fee, which you don't have to pay a fee to file unemployment. There's no benefit to doing that. You can do so through your home state with no problem. In fact, it's against the law. So contact your state unemployment office if ever you want to file unemployment. Another one is called a bait and switch scam. This is a scam in which you apply for a job and they pick you for an interview. Lucky you. But during the interview, you discover that the job that you applied for actually doesn't exist. And they want you for something completely different. This is a job that nobody wants. Absolutely nobody wants. But they're going to try to convince you to take the job. Another big one is direct deposit scams. Never, ever, ever, here's the deal, give out your banking information in order to get a job over the internet. Now, one would think this would be common sense, but these people can be very, very convincing. Rule of thumb, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So that is this week's 5 Minutes of Personal Finance. Be very careful. Look out for employment and career scams. These people mean you no good. Remember, all of this is very important because it is your money.
And that was SHR Media's great Melanie giving out some great advice. Hopefully I'll be playing more of these more often too. Alright, let's see, where are we? Going through some emails real quick. So, this is how bad it's gotten and how nuts our schools and our kids and society have gotten. At Michigan State University, a racial uproar happened Wednesday after someone reported there was a noose put on what was hung outside of her room. Now, the MSU president, Lou Ann K. Simon, released a statement Wednesday morning saying she was distressed after finding out a student reported a noose was hung outside of her room. She commended the student's courage for reporting the racial incident and put out a clear message. This type of behavior is not tolerated on our campus. No Spartan should ever feel targeted based on their race or other ways in which they identify. Which, I agree, no one should be targeted. But the problem is, they started a police investigation. The MSU police revealed there was no noose. Instead, they found the object was a packaged leather shoelace and not a noose. Adding that the shoelaces are packaged in a way that someone could perceive them similar to a noose. I've seen a lot of packaged shoelaces and never said, hey, that looks like a noose. Officers tracked down and interviewed the student who lost both of the shoelaces. That student happens to live on the same floor as the one who made the report. Also, the original shoelace found inside the resident hall was not directed at any individual, Cody said, adding that police believe someone found the shoelace and put it on a stairwell door handle after picking it up off the floor. Everybody's so quick to jump on that nowadays. Every little thing's racially motivated. Sometimes It's a zebra is just a zebra, and a horse is just a horse. So, ISIS-inspired plot targeted Times Square, New York City subway, feds say. 3 men, including an American and a Canadian, plotted ISIS-inspired terror attacks against New York City landmarks, concert venues, and the city's subway system last summer, according to federal prosecutors. Charges were unsealed Friday against holy shit. Holy. I'm getting the wife out for this one. Holy. Alphabet soup. Let's see. Holy. So I'm going to type in all the names. Holy. This first one is seriously is alphabet soup. I know, sometimes I should have this in advance, but then I know the articles, and that defeats the way I do the show. What? I hate when my phone. Decides that it's going to do autocorrect. I know a friend of mine that got in trouble recently with his company because his phone did autocorrect, and he even apologized for what the autocorrect was, and now he's in a world of shit over it because the employee's not taking the apology and understanding it was a fucking autocorrect. Alright, this is the one person's name, 19-year-old Canadian citizen. No, what the heck? There we go. Ready? Take 3.
Abdul Rahman El Banasai.
Abdul Rahman Homicide. So that is the one 19-year-old that was arrested. Russell Salick, and then Russell Salick was a 37-year-old citizen from the Philippines. I'm telling you, there is a lot of terror, ISIS-related, that's coming out of the Philippines. That's why I'm not ruling out ISIS-inspired for Las Vegas. But here is the other 19-year-old U.S. citizen based in Pakistan.
Tasha Haroon.
So those 3 have been arrested, and the charges were unsealed Friday. The Abdullah Hamada was arrested in May 2016 and pled guilty this past October to 7 terror-related charges, including conspiracy to use weapons of mass destruction, conspiracy to commit act of terrorism across national borders, and conspiracy to bomb a public transportation system. His sentencing is pending. Haroon was arrested in Pakistan in September 2006, while Salick was arrested in the Philippines this past April. Both men are awaiting extradition to the United States. Prosecutors say that Abada and Haran plotted attacks that would coincide with the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which ran from June 6th to July 5th of last year. According to court documents, alphabet soup bought bomb-making material and secured a cabin outside of New York City to use as a safe house, while Haran consulted an explosive expert in Pakistan and made plans to travel to the United States to carry out the attacks. Salick allegedly wired money from the Philippines to support the operations. According to investigators, Abdul, we'll just leave it at that, Haran discussed their plans online with an undercover FBI agent posing as an ISIS sympathizer. Abdul told the agent that he wanted to create the next 9/11. And on May 1st, 2016, Abdul sent the agent a map of the New York City subway system with markings identical. Oh, God. It's been already a long show. Identifying which lines the men would attack. Haran told the agent they should shoot as many train passengers as possible, including women or kids. When we run out of bullets, we let the vests go off, Haran vowed. The would-be attackers also eyed Times Square as a target, investigators say. We seriously need a car bomb at Times Square, Abdul messaged the undercover agent on May 12th. Look at these crowds of people. The same day, Abdul said he wanted to shoot up concerts because they kill a lot of people. He said he and his co-conspirators should walk in with guns in our hands. That's how the Paris guys did it, in reference to the November 2015 ISIS attack in the French capital that killed 130 people, many of them spectators at a rock concert. This is why I'm still not convinced that there's no connection to ISIS. Too many connections. Just recently, ISIS was claiming they were going to do an attack in Las Vegas. And if you remember, they had the film, and they were driving down the strip. That was just recently. So that still has me wondering. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, and we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch Reaver of Common Sense show hosted by Jersey Joe right here on shrmedia.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else. So consider this your fair warning.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires, due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network, to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid promo.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Hey, it's Sean from the Sackheads Radio Show, also one of the owners here at the SHR Media Network. Are you opinionated? Have you ever wanted to do your own show? Have you ever heard somebody like the Sackheads and go, yeah, I could probably do that better? Well, now's your chance. Send me a 5-minute clip at sackheadsradio@gmail.com, and maybe you can be part of the SHR broadcasting team. sackheadsradio@gmail.com.
This is Jersey Joe, host of the Reaver of Common Sense, and you're listening to SHRmedia.com.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Human by race, Christian by faith, American by nationality, and conservative by choice. Reverend Ralph J. Chittum Sr. is the right guy on SHR Media from 8:05 to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday. And if on the rare occasion I am ever wrong, I will still always be right. The right guy on SHR Media.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show.
And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Well, it is Friday. The weekend is here. Last segment of the show. And then it's party time. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend. Like I said, I got to ask my wife what my plans are. Is that sad? So this one, it kind of made me laugh. Because Frankenstein's monster is coming home to roost. And what I mean by that, the Black Lives Matter activist group at the College of Williams and Mary shut down an ACLU free speech event on the basis that liberalism is white supremacy. The Black Lives Matter group at the College of William and Mary derailed a campus event hosted by the ACLU. The event, which is titled Students and the First Amendment, was a lecture being offered by ACLU staffer and W&M Alma. Oh, God. I think I got some sound clips. I find it funny. I mean, they're going after the people that created them and helped them, and it's gonna hurt. All right, I think I got it right here. The students live streamed their protest effort on Facebook. The video shows the students storming the stage shortly after the lecture began. For nearly 20 minutes, the students chanted, drowning out the speaker, ACLU, you protect Hitler too. The oppressed are not impressed. Shame, 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 shame were amongst the chants used by protesters. In addition, they chanted, the revolution will not uphold the Constitution. Liberalism is white supremacy. Understand that. The revolution will not uphold the Constitution.
Thank you all for coming out tonight to Students in the First Amendment, presented by the ACLU and Alma Mater Productions. Before I introduce our two moderators and speaker for the evening, I would like to direct you to the table with note cards
I figured they'd just show the protest part, not all the bullshit. While they do this, the protest was supposedly a statement against the ACLU's decision to defend the Charlottesville rally that took place on the University of Virginia's campus in August. After the chanting went on for almost 20 minutes, the event organizer pulled the plug on the lecture. It's a free speech rally, and it's gotten shut down. And as they chant, it says, the revolution will not uphold the Constitution. These people are not American. They don't care about democracy. They want to tear everything down about this country. I really don't feel like going through all this torture. Now, William and Mary released a statement on the event's derailment. The statement argues that silencing certain voice in order to advance the cause of others is not acceptable because it stifles debate. William and Mary has a powerful commitment to the free play ideas. We have a campus where respectful dialogue, especially in disagreement, is encouraged so that we can listen and learn from views that differ from our own, so that we can freely express our own views, and so that debate can occur. Unfortunately, that type of exchange was unable to take place Wednesday when an event to discuss a very important matter, the meaning of the First Amendment, could not be held as planned. Silencing certain voices in order to advance the cause of others is not acceptable in our community. This stifles debate and prevents those who have come to hear a speaker, our students in particular, from asking questions, often hard questions, and from engaging in debate where the strength of ideas, not the power of shouting, is the currency. William and Mary must be a campus that welcomes different conversations, honest debate, and civil dialogue. If it doesn't get to the you know.
Good, the lights are on. I can see some. I don't know if you've ever been on a stage like this, but when the uplights are on in your face, the lights in the audience aren't on, you really can't make any connection from the audience. So,
the breathing's really scaring me. Looks like here comes the protest. This is good. I like this. No, you're not.
Knowing your rights and protests and demonstrations, which this illustrates very well. I appreciate it. And then I'm going to respond to questions from the moderators and then any questions that there are from the audience.
And this is when security should be brought in and have these people removed. You have the right to protest, but when people have these events, they have a right to have their events. They have the right to remove these people. Yes, these people have right to free speech. Doesn't mean I have to give it on my time. You have a right to speak. You don't have a right to be listened. They could do that outside the events. People pay money for this type of stuff to go down, and they should not be allowed to stop these events. Now the funny thing is, there's a bunch of white people up there. That's the scary part. It's a bunch of white people. more childish chant, and you know what? They're not going to be taken seriously when they do this kind of crap. This is what's pissing off people left, right, and center. But this is the stuff that was created by the left, and in some ways it's coming back to bite them on the ass. Real quick, because we're running out of time. Earlier in the week, there was a video where someone took Hispanic, I think she's Hispanic, took this gentleman's hat from him. He had a Make America Great. It was at a college, and she feels that it was not appropriate to wear. Long story short, she threw a hissy fit. It's all on video. She don't care about free speech. She doesn't care what she did was illegal. She goes to leave the office, and campus police show up and detain her, and now she may be facing felony charges for stealing someone's hat. These people cannot go around, running around, doing whatever they want, thinking they have a right to do whatever they want. This is a law-abiding country. Just because your feelings are hurt doesn't mean you get to run around and do whatever the hell you want. There is consequences for your actions, and these people are not. They don't think there's consequences, and they're running around doing whatever the hell they want. Why? Because the Democrats have allowed it for the last 8 years. With that, that's going to be the show. I want everybody to have a great weekend. Don't party too hard. And remember, Monday, 9 p.m., I'll be back. Till then, have a great, great weekend.
Listening to the SHR Media.
You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hbpundit.com and shrmedia.com.